You don't want to go there. That's the message from former Defence Minister and Army veteran Ron Mark for Kiwis wanting to join the front line in Ukraine. Ron has recently returned from his third self-funded trip to Ukraine since Russia's invasion, where he's been working with aid organisations, and he is with us this morning. Ron, good morning.
Morning, Ryan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well. Good to see you.
See you, mate.
First of all, you've been 3 times now. What's changed over that? You've been to visit the troops, you've been to the front line. What's changed?
Technology, the war. I often say I've just recently did a presentation to the New Zealand Military College for Advanced Staff Command and Staff Training, and these are the people who are going to make general equivalents in all of their defence forces, people from about 15 countries. And one thing I've made clear to them is that we've transitioned in Ukraine from what was essentially World War I trench warfare, the like of which, and I don't think any Western nation ever thought that they would be participating in, to now a very personal type of war, courtesy of rapid advance in technology through what autonomous delivery systems are able to bring to the game, and whether that's FPV drones, which target you individually as a single person or an individual single vehicle, to remote vehicles, which do everything from recovering battle casualties out of the field to providing fire support on mobile with 50 caliber machine guns on mobile platforms controlled from some distance behind the line. And of course, you're all seeing the impact of long-range drones and how effective they are. I've even seen the introduction of crop dusters armed with air-to-air missiles and air-to-surface missiles, which you would not have imagined, that in this day we were talking F-35s and the like of that in combat, to ever imagine a top dressing plane armed with missiles delivering a powerful, lethal punch.
It's just insane to see the pictures. We've got pictures as you're talking, but to actually be there experiencing it. Is this why you're saying to Kiwis who are thinking, I want to go and help, I want to go and join, is this why you're saying, hey, think twice?
Yeah, look, it's a reality check. I know I deployed to Ukraine at the request of to Oman in the 80s at the request of the British, and I spent 5 years with them in Oman. And it's all those things about adventure, about applying your professional art and skill that you've been trained by New Zealand. And any professional wants to do what they're trained to do, and military people are no different. They want to test themselves, they want to participate, but more importantly, they are driven by the values instilled in them in Ngāti Tūmatonga and the Air Force and the Navy equivalents, and to serve a just cause and to uphold the things that we say, quote, that we defend, like freedom, liberty. These things roll off the tongue, but they only mean something if you're prepared to do something. And these New Zealanders, men and women, are doing that. But and it's fair to say that the basic training they get here in New Zealand up to a certain level is totally top tier. It's first class. We train infantry soldiers to a level that other nations consider to be reconnaissance specialists or special operators. Well, they're not. In New Zealand, they are line infantry, but that's how good we train them. The difference is that New Zealand's never participated in a war like this, ever. And you can't equate it to East Timor, you can't equate it to Iraq or Afghanistan, where you're out there and on the road, or visiting villages, doing the hearts and mind things, doing provincial reconstruction, and then going back to your secure base behind the buns and emailing or getting online and talking to your wife and children. This is not that game. This is trench warfare of a type they've never known before. It's close quarter warfare, contact. You're dealing with drones, you're dealing with autonomous vehicles, and you have no air superiority. In fact, this is a peer-on-peer war between what we expected United States and NATO to be fighting against Russia, and it's nothing like New Zealand's ever done. New Zealand could learn a lot.
Well, I was about to say, given everything you're just saying, how prepared. The war has changed so quickly, the technology has moved so quickly. How prepared would the New Zealand Defence Force or, the Australian Defence Force be should we need to engage in something like this? God help us.
Well, it's fair to say, and there's things you don't talk about, There are some nations around the world who understand the rapidly evolving situation over there and what it means to doctrine, to training, to tactics and strategic deployments. They are noting the successes of the FSB and GUR and SSO operators. New Zealand has publicly announced that it's training Ukrainian snipers. It's doing other stuff in Poland with dive teams. Judith Collins being upfront rah-rah about that, prepare for war. But smart countries are doing more than training. They're learning, and they know. I put a post up last night. I said, it's interesting how Ukraine has gone from being the curious military apprentice, where people watch from afar their ongoing struggle against Russia and Donetsk and Donbass, to now being the sorcerer who could teach the West so much. And it's in NATO's interest, and it's in Europe's interest as a whole, and I would have thought it's in the United States' interest to be not only supporting Ukraine to retain its independence, its sovereignty, to get its stolen children back,
but learning
it's
from
also it's also there as a learning opportunity that they will either take and learn from and be more prepared and save their own lives, or they will ignore until it's too late. And just like the First World War and the Second World War, New Zealand deployed totally unprepared. We lost people. We lost people's dads and brothers and uncles because we weren't trained. And that's a lesson we could learn from, and I say we, the royal we being the Western nations.
And it's a lesson, sorry to interrupt you there, Mark, Ron, but a lesson that you are obviously learning, and I'm glad you're sharing with us this morning. Thank you very much for being with us. Appreciate your time.